You have strong storms right now in Morgan County and really even the north side of Roane County. There's another storm cell. We have multiple storms there coming up across Oak Ridge area to Clinton, segmented here with these gusts, really 40 to 50 miles per hour. And these strong storms between Stearns and Oneida and La Follette to Rocky Top to Clinton to Oak Ridge and Wartburg. We have these storms coming up across Knoxville. So I'm going to track this one here right over Kingston first for you. Moving east-northeast again, they've slowed down at least a bit. Earlier, these storm cells were even trying to go 80 miles per hour. So this one in particular coming up towards Kingston over the next few minutes. So you want to make sure that you're indoors. If you're hearing thunder, with these winds whipping though, I would not be outside. Very, very dangerous. Unfortunately, the debris that can just be flying. We're getting reports of damage before storms have even moved in. Again, for those of you who are just joining us, we are getting reports from Nashville that the damage reports are actually even greater behind the storms than from the storms. That's important. That's part of the high wind warning that continues. So this particular storm cell that also is packing that punch of 70-mile-per-hour gusts, that means even greater potential of damage versus some other storm cells. Hardin Valley, 306, Westtown Mall, Bearden area, 315, Knoxville, 320. Then we've also got Gibbs at 333. I want to point out, too, if you have the WVLT First Alert Weather app, I was just getting a notification that we are about 9.5 miles out from lightning. That's important, another safety indicator. That's one of the options you can turn on in your First Alert Weather app. So here in Bearden, you're getting those notifications as well. You can get heavy rain notifications as well as severe weather. Your choice. They're all available in that First Alert Weather app. We have this storm cell. Again, this is really the nastiest looking storm cell, but I want to put a track on it for you here and show you where these storms then are moving up into Knox County to Blount County to Seymour area. So Benfield 312, Maryville 320, Wildwood at just before 330, Seymour 334, French Broad River at 340. So very important here. That's kind of the nastiest looking storm at that current tilt. That means it would be moving straight across I-75. It would be coming straight up across Loudoun County to Maryville and Knoxville area, coming across West Knoxville here. So that storm cell is what we're looking at. You can even see, I mean, just how bright it is in the center. That's some very heavy rain. That is some hail indicators that we have seen from these storm cells as well. And then the south end closer to Athens area. So I'm going to track that a little separately here because it is a pretty big storm system, or a pretty big storm cell. Actually, it's starting to twist just a bit. I want to just highlight that. Again, we're in a tornado watch. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. Watch means conditions are right. Madisonville, you've got the southern tail of this severe storm coming your way here in just about 19 minutes. Vonore closer to 315, Lanier 320, Maryville 335, and Cades Cove 340. So we have those winds before, during the storms, and after. The storm cells themselves are closer to 50 to 70 miles per hour. Big picture, most of you are catching that 30 to 40 mile per hour gust. That means on occasion they are kicking up here, and that can cause damage in and of itself. So you don't have to get the warning, but these storms will continue to advance east across our area over the next couple of hours. Let's get to meteorologist Jacob Durham. I know he's an update important on that tornado watch, actually, that just came in a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. We are tracking in addition to that tornado watch. Of course, here in Knoxville, it goes until 5 o'clock, and you can see it's been expanded back into the mountains of North Carolina. Now, it is going to be filled in, it looks like, across portions of East Tennessee. The areas that are not already under that tornado watch, looks like they're going to be issued, and that's going to be until later this evening. But 5 o'clock out there. Thankfully, the good news is Cumberland and Fentress, you are now outside of that tornado watch. So if you live in Jamestown, Crossville, the worst of the weather is now to your east. However, we will be tracking those gusty winds on the backside that still could bring plenty of power lines down and things like that, especially trees. And there is that new tornado watch. That's going to go out until 8 o'clock this evening, so you can see that filled out. So you got that line. It's kind of hard to see, but anywhere, say, from Campbell back into portions of Claiborne as well, back up into Union, Granger, Hamlin, Cott, Greene counties, severe, even Jefferson. That is now until 8 o'clock this evening as those storms continue to push off towards the east. So let's pull up the radar again and show you what we are dealing with. Several severe thunderstorm warnings as these progress off towards the east at about 50 miles per hour. That one there across portions of Roane as well as Loudoun counties. That until 3 o'clock, and that's moving at 50 miles per hour, so that's until 3:15, excuse me. And then we have the other severe thunderstorm warning that includes portions of Monroe County. That storm moving at 40 miles per hour, and it expires at 3:30. So strong damaging winds with this, by far the heaviest of rainfall in and around Madisonville. Hail indicators beginning to show up, even an uptick in lightning, and that usually indicates that the storm is strengthening. We did see a little bit of sunshine earlier, and we told you about this on WVLT News at noon, that if we did see a little bit of sunshine, that's going to add that thunderstorm fuel, and of course that's what we're seeing at the moment. So tornado watch once again for the rest of East Tennessee until 8 o'clock tonight here in Knox County, specifically until 5, but Cumberland as well as Fentress, that is now until that has been allowed to expire. So that's the one good news. But let's kind of time this out and show you the latest timing for who is going to be impacted as these storms lift off towards the east-northeast. I'll track the strongest of storms there just to the north of Madisonville. This is moving to the east-northeast once again at 50 miles per hour, so near Louisville at 3:05. We've got Seymour by 3:26 and Sevierville, if it holds together, that's by 3:45. So it's racing off towards the east-northeast. Heavy rain, thunder, lightning, as well as some of those torrential downpours, maybe some small hail as well, and those gusty winds of at least 70 miles per hour. So if you are under that severe thunderstorm warning, you need to be indoors, away from windows and things like that. And I know we've gotten some reports of damage coming out from a few of those areas, so that'll be something that we're going to be watching closely as
actually, yeah,
well.
Let's get to Brittany Tarwater. She's got a look at some of the damage reports that are already coming in.
Yeah, guys, thanks. You're doing a really great job. We do have some pictures of people sending in some damage reports, mostly trees coming down in the area. So we want to show you some of those pictures that we're getting. This one from Mary Gorman, I think that's the one that we can start with. Trees and power poles down. This is coming out of Oak Ridge. So some of you are seeing pictures, scenes similar to this. If this is happening in your neighborhood, in your backyard, please let us know. Send us some pictures. We want to be able to inform you and your neighbors, make sure everybody is staying safe. So please let us know what you're seeing. This again, trees and power poles down in the Oak Ridge area. She said her son and her husband work for Kendall Tree Services in Oak Ridge. They're sending us those pictures. And then this coming in from Deborah Winstead Haley from our Weather Vols team, saying the storms and the wind brought down limbs that took out phone lines and partially uprooted trees in the front yard, saying we've had this tree for 25 years and have enjoyed it, and now you can see what the winds have done to the tree there. Another reminder, I know that our weather team has really been talking about this, but a great reminder to download that WVLT First Alert Weather app. The alerts will go straight to you. They travel with you, let you know what's happening in and around your area and what is coming your way. Just another layer of protection to keep you and your family safe. Let's get back out to our Chief Meteorologist, Heather Haley, who has an eye out.
And obviously, we're always telling you about that app, but if you normally rely on a NOAA weather radio in East Tennessee, that transmitter is down today. So all the more reason to always at least have extra layers of protection to stay informed, to stay safe. Right now, again, I'm highlighting that active severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in these warnings, you'd be getting that notification based on the fact that you're in that GPS location of these boxes. That means everyone in our area got the tornado watch notifications now that we have that new one that extends out to northeast Tennessee until 8. This active severe thunderstorm warning includes Loudon, Meigs, so that's coming up into this northeast corner here, Monroe, so it's really closer to Sweetwater, and then into really Roane County as well, including Kingston. But notice what would be next. West Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Maryville. So it's really right on that edge. This storm cell is kind of the nastiest part, but there really are 2 storm cells in essence included in this severe thunderstorm warning until 3:15. So 25 more minutes for this particular warning box. But I wanted to zoom in here. That is the heart of that storm. Look at that. It's right over I-75. That's 70 mile per hour gusts and intense rain that would make it very hard to see. That was one of the things we were talking about before this, is obviously wind damage is our number one concern. But if you're trying to drive in some of these downpours, that becomes zero visibility. So I definitely do not encourage being on the roads right now if you can avoid it, or if anything, you've got some loved ones who you know we're trying to kind of get home real quick, make sure they're out ahead of it. Otherwise, sit still and wait until a storm passes because they are moving so fast. So right now, the heaviest rainfall and then the most intense part of this storm cell, which is still trying to twist a bit, that just means those winds are really ramping up. It can be dropping some hail in that center point here of this storm that really is right at that point of convergence of Loudoun County, of Roane County, of McMinn County, of Monroe County. So we are right there bringing multiple counties together in the center of that intense thunderstorm. Now, we do still have a strong to severe thunderstorm, I should say, coming up across the southern half of McMinn County, moving up towards Monroe. Again, this warning is until 3:30. Then we've got that one until 3:15. And then, of course, multiple strong storms. I'm not ignoring you. In Knoxville, in La Follette, in Oneida, in Stearns. So big picture, multiple storms are in our area. Gusty winds out ahead of it. And we are getting confirmation that those gusts behind it have even caused more damage reports behind the storm system. So that's why the wind risk does continue beyond the storm cells themselves. So taking a look here at some of these strong storms coming up through Campbell County and Oneida. You do have a strong storm right outside of Oneida. We do still see some hail indicators out of the storms around McCurry County into Campbell County, West Claiborne County, moving northeast, Clinton to Knoxville. Again, here's that storm cell. So to track that for you here again, this is moving east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. That means you have this storm while you're not in the warning. Those of you, I'm giving you a heads up right now. Benfield 311, Maryville 319, South Dole 328. You want to make sure you're in the lowest level of your home away from windows. With the winds of this speed, the damage potential is great. You got trees that can topple, you got debris that can fly, and that can blow out a window. South Dole again 328, Seymour 334, Kodak 347. So really kind of the nastiest storm cell here in our current warnings is this one that is sitting right over I-75 and moving up across Loudoun County into Blount County, into Knox County. This would be next on the warnings. That current warning box includes Loudoun County and Roane County and is moving east-northeast. And then we've got that other severe storm down here around Athens. You can even see some of those hail indicators still trying to go off on the backside of that storm. So that's where it's even trying to kind of dump out what it was able to hold up onto and create that hail, and then it drops it even on the backside quite often. So that's where we're seeing a strong storm, Kingston, and then it ramps up to the severity really right over Loudoun County. So keep that in mind too. Let's zoom in. I'm going to take you down to the neighborhoods even that are of a concern in case you're going, all right, I got loved ones in Loudoun County or into Farragut area. I got you covered. So look at that right there, that heart of that storm. That's what we're going to zoom in on. So I-75, as I mentioned, Highway 11, that's what becomes Kingston Pike in West Knoxville and then runs through Loudoun County. So we are seeing some of the nastiest part of that storm right over Philadelphia. If you have loved ones who maybe normally rely on a NOAA weather radio, send them a message, make sure that their phone's charged, make sure that they are ready. Big Piney, you're next, but this is sitting right over Highway 11 in Philadelphia, Old Sweetwater there at the Monroe County line. So then we're going to shift over so I can just keep you centered up over the points of concern with this particular storm cell. Old Sweetwater to East Sweetwater. Again, Big Piney to Eve Mills, you're next. I will say you can even see that radar refreshing and highlighting here. This is still pretty nasty over here towards Sweetwater and Newport. Very heavy rain, hail, and then that potential for those gusts to be 70 miles per hour and causing damage. Getting up here into more of Loudoun County, right over I-75 coming out of Cookmall. You can see a couple of spots here that are just very intense. These bright pinks here, that is the heart of that storm cell coming up here into more of Loudoun County, Adolphus to Loudoun. So you can see it's even trying to split apart even more between I-75 and Highway 11. So really we're kind of over Big Piney with the heart of that storm cell splitting over the western half of Loudoun County into Loudoun. Just heard a rumble of thunder here at the station in Bearden area. Some of you might be hearing these off in the distance. Sugar Limb to Davis, it's coming up into your neck of the woods. So Lenore City, it's literally knocking at your back door. Over I-75 to Dogwood there, that would be over into Roane County. I know I'm zoomed in so much that some of you might have lost track here, but I'll zoom back out for you to give you an idea of exactly where we are now. As we zoom out over Sugar Limb, over Loudoun County, this severe thunderstorm again centered right over Loudoun County. This is the heart of that severe thunderstorm warning. I'll zoom out a little bit more here so we can then track this storm for you again and show you where this is headed. I'll track it in segments too, since obviously the storm cells here are breaking up, but that means we have pockets of that damage potential. So we'll track this northern part of that severe storm coming out of Kingston towards Knoxville, and then that means it'll be on the other side of Knox County by the time that warning will likely be extended. So that's Hardin Valley here at 3:15, Westtown Mall Bearden area 3:26, downtown Knoxville 3:30, to Seymour 3:45, and French Broad River in East Knox County at 3:50. Then we have the nastiest part of that storm cell that I was just zoomed in on really close on the towns here. That means that'll actually be reaching Sevier County in an hour. Again, you're not in the warning yet, likely to be included in that, especially looking at that current scan of that storm. That's going to be moving towards Maryville at about 3:20, Wildwood at about 3:30, Seymour 3:37 to Boyd's Creek at 3:45, and Gatlinburg at 3:54. Again, we have some of the hail indicators still going off here on the backside of that storm system. I'm going to zoom out even more because, again, I know that a lot of you are going, well, what about my county? What about my town? So switching over to tracking here the strong storms that are coming up into parts of our area. We do have multiple storms here up through North Knox, through Oak Ridge, to Campbell County, to southeastern Kentucky, and then look at the difference in that severe storm too. So you can even see that there when it comes down to the different kind of pieces and parts of these storm cells, with the gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour at times out ahead of it and then still behind it. So those are the different parts here of our system as we continue to monitor these storms here. I know Jacob is over there analyzing some of these for you. So I'll give you a track one more time of this severe storm coming across Maryville, South Knoxville to Dandridge. I want to stress that 3:15. You might be hearing some heavy rain and lightning nearby. If you do have a power outage, we will continue to live stream this for you. We are continuing to send you messages from the WVLT First Alert Weather app as well. So if you're like me, I like to just kind of keep up with what's going on. If you're just kind of keeping the TV on but you lose power, we will continue to message you through the app, and plus you can pull up that live stream if you still have enough cell signal. I would say don't waste the juice on just watching the feed. Make sure that you're getting those notifications. That should be first and foremost as these storms come up through Maryville here in just about 20 minutes. South Dole 3:25 to Seymour at 3:30, Kodak 3:42 to Dandridge at 4 o'clock. Again, Sevier County, Blount County, Knox County, Jefferson, you're not in the warning. That's how fast that storm cell is moving. That is in Loudoun County. Actually, Jacob's got a good track of that lightning included on that too. I want you to see this.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. The lightning has really picked up in intensity over the last probably 15 to 20 minutes. You can see as it moved from the west to the east, especially across portions of Loudoun into Roane, it's really begun to kind of pick up that lightning. So looking at a couple of wind reports as well, this is in Blount County. This is non-thunderstorm wind gusts of 60 miles per hour, and we just got that new severe thunderstorm warning that's going to come out for us in just a minute. But that does include Anderson, Blount, Knox, Loudoun, Monroe, Roane, Sevier, and Union counties until 3:45. So considerable damage possible with this severe thunderstorm as it moves off towards the east-northeast, winds of 70 miles per hour, and this is now moving at 60 miles per hour. So you can see that new severe thunderstorm warning polygon that just popped up there on the map. This does include downtown Knoxville. The worst of it's still back towards our south and our west, but it's moving to the east-northeast once again at 60 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and put a track on that and show you where the worst of this will be as it continues to move off towards the east once again. You probably just got an alert from the WVLT First Alert Weather app, but here in downtown Knoxville by 3:11, so the next 10 to 15 minutes, this is when it's moving into our area, then towards Kodak 3:28, Dandridge by 3:40, and if it holds together towards Morristown at 3:52. And I will say the southern half of this line has definitely been more intense over the course of the afternoon. We saw a little bit of sunshine that helped temperatures across the valley pop up into the lower to middle 70s. So it's got a lot of thunderstorm fuel to go with as it continues to lift off towards the east-northeast. So this goes until 3:45 once again. So we've got another 45 minutes with this severe thunderstorm warning as it continues to work its way towards the east-northeast. But look at all that lightning if we zoom in a little bit closer and kind of take you down into street level, showing you in around Louisville, there towards Bearden. This is where we're located, of course. That's where we're going to see the heaviest of rain beginning to move in. Even those purples and magentas indicating that we could see a little bit of that hail kind of mixing in right over Loudoun and Philadelphia at the moment towards McPhee Park. That's moving into Hardin Valley as well. Some of the heavier rainfall over towards McGee-Tyson, maybe hearing that rumble of thunder as well. Remember, if you hear thunder, make sure to go indoors, stay away from those windows, keep electronics out from being plugged up. You want to go ahead and have those charged, especially with some of these damaging winds. But heads up towards Knoxville, South Doyle, towards Seymour, as well as Wildwood and Maryville, coming up over the course of the next 10 to 15 minutes. This is when this is moving in over the course of 60 miles per hour. And of course, we got some new updates coming from Brittany as well.
All right, thanks a lot, Jacob and Heather. Also, we do have some power outage reports that we want you to know about, and crews all across East Tennessee who are on standby and who are working right now to keep you and your family safe. Let's start with some of the outages that we're seeing right now in Oak Ridge. We're getting reports from Oak Ridge Police and the city of Oak Ridge. Power is out on Nebraska Avenue because of a downed tree. You're seeing some of those downed trees. We've been showing you reports specifically from this area, but this now coming because of a downed tree. Power is out in some of those areas, specifically around Nebraska Avenue in Oak Ridge. Also in Bermuda Road and Montana Avenue, crews are en route or almost there. And then another outage on Wedgwood. That should be restored within the next 20 to 30 minutes based on when they reported that. So you should be getting power back on in that part of town. City of Knoxville is also reporting that they are ready to go. They have their crews, they have their equipment, their trucks. You can see some rafts there ready to go just in case of emergency. This coming from the city of Knoxville that is, again, ready for whatever comes your way to keep you and your family safe. And a reminder also coming from Mark Nagy. They are watching the roads right now, just urging, and we want to reiterate, be careful if you need to be out on the roads. They're urging that you just take caution if necessary, but also warning if you don't need to be on the roads, best to stay safe and not be driving right now. We will keep you covered with what crews are doing as outages are reported. We will let you know, and the timeline for when those outages are expected to be restored. Let's get back out to our chief meteorologist, Heather Haley, who's watching the weather right now. Heather.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we have those gusts, we have the hail even in this storm. That's another thing. I was pointing out that this storm looked like the absolute nastiest. And then, of course, that warning was extended out into more of Blount County, Sevier County, and Knox County. For those of you who are just joining us, we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings right now. The newest one being this one right here for Anderson, Blount, Knox, and Sevier until 3:45. 1-inch hail and gusts of 60 miles per hour. So that's kind of two different thresholds here that could cause damage, but the winds are definitely the number one concern. You can see even this radar refresh here coming in on the heart of that storm. Right there in that far west corner of Knox County, coming up out of Loudoun County. So we'll be checking on our friends and neighbors in Loudoun County as well to make sure everyone is okay as that storm continues on through Knox County, downtown Knoxville, South Knoxville. Basically, think of this as driving I-40. You know how it kind of runs diagonal across Knox County? That's the angle this is moving. So we are going to track this for you here. We've got these strong storms to severe storms still behind this severe storm. So notice it's just a trail of storms down into more of Athens area to Madisonville and then Knox County. So you still have the severe storm towns towards Delano to McMinn County coming up into Monroe County. So that is also moving east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. I don't even have room. It's moving so fast. Moving into Tellico Plains here over the next 15 minutes. Terriffill 330 closer to Tallahassee about 340. Zoomed out, we have multiple strong storms then once you get north of Knox. So you have some strong storms in Anderson County. But as Brittany was pointing out, we already had damage reports in Oak Ridge. So remember, you do not have to have a severe thunderstorm warning to have damage today. That's why that high wind warning was issued for our entire area. The high winds were the focus for our entire area. Plus, we have these storms that are firing up and moving across our area with the wind still trailing behind it. The high wind warning goes until 1 a.m. for most of our area, 10 a.m. Smokies, and they might be able to back that off a little bit sooner. We were kind of seeing that 10 to 11 p.m. time frame for those winds, but that means you still have some strong storms draped across Clinton to Maynardville to La Follette to Tazewell to Middlesboro. That's why I would not recommend being out on the roads, just like TDOT said. Then we have this severe thunderstorm right here coming up along the Blount County line. Actually, this would be a really good one. We'll have to monitor and see what the winds are recorded at the airport. That's obviously our main observation site. So that'll be coming right there along it. But I want to zoom in here down to the neighborhood again. on the pieces and parts of the heart of this severe storm. So Pellissippi Parkway, for example, that is one spot where we are seeing this. Kingston Pike right there into Farragut area. Again, McPhee Park is in Farragut, so now we can just kind of shift our view and keep an eye on all the different parts of town. Concord Park, if you've got loved ones in Concord Park, make sure that they are away from windows. Make sure they are staying informed to stay safe. Foxfire to Louisville. I know that Jacob mentioned that one a second ago in that track. Middle Settlement, there's McGee-Tyson Airport. That's why I was saying this is literally going to move right across the airport there. So we're going to get a really accurate reading on those winds, unfortunately. Mahoney Mill, if you live near the airport, heads up. Friendsville, getting into Coulter Grove. We've also got this storm here, Coulter Shoals, excuse me, Centersville to Davis. There's Lenoir City. This is what just moved across Lenoir City and is really, look at that, right over Choteau Hills. So we got McPhee Park to Choteau Hills, and then it just gets the most intense rainfall, those 70-mile-per-hour gusts, and again, that 1-inch hail coming out of this. So centered up right there over the Knox, Blount to Loudoun County is the center point of this storm. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit more because obviously that's just kind of the worst part of that severe storm, but it is still a pretty large storm cell that branches up into Bearden. I'm going to move my camera out just a little bit more because I know I need it to track this storm cell. So then it is moving east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So that is something that you're going to continue to see here as that advances up along the Blount County line, South Knoxville, West Knoxville. So the heart of that storm cell right there, moving east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour, puts it all the way out into Jefferson County. Again, we were tracking this into Sevier County, into Blount County, into Knox County before you were included in the warning. So just kind of a heads up that Jefferson County, then that could even advance towards you. That does take that heart of that severe storm right over McGee-Tyson Airport here in just about 5 minutes. Closer to Seymour, 3:30, French Broad River, 3:37. Kodak 343 to just before 4 o'clock in Dandridge. Actually, I see Jacob's got the winds pulled up. That airport reading not looking too good for the severe storm already.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. You were just mentioning that severe storm was going to move right over McGee-Tyson, and sure enough, the winds just spiked to 54 miles per hour. It was at 37-mile-per-hour gusts before. Now that storm's beginning to arrive, it's up to 54 miles per hour. Look down towards Madisonville. There in Monroe County, we're sitting at 49-mile-per-hour gusts, and also passing along from the National Weather Service chat, there has been some reports of trees down, multiple trees down there in Sweetwater and Monroe County. So this same storm that's moving off towards the east-northeast, impacting areas like Knoxville, back towards McGee-Tyson, and eventually on down the road towards Sevier, as well as Cocke and Greene counties. That's already had history of producing some of those strong damaging winds. Very heavy rainfall on top of the roof right now here. And Bearden, it kind of sounds like it's kind of being whipped around by some rain potentially, some wind potentially as well. But here's a look at that live radar once again. Some of the heaviest of lightning as well as the heavy rain just south of downtown Knoxville at the moment. The worst of it may stay just to the south of downtown, but still nonetheless very heavy rainfall, gusty winds as well. And around Maryville at the moment, heading right towards McGee-Tyson. And we'll kind of turn off that lightning just a little bit as well and show you where some of that heavy rainfall that Heather was just mentioning, some of the heaviest rainfall in around Friendsville, there towards McGee-Tyson Airport. Hopefully no planes coming in at the moment. It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but over towards Cactus Cove as well as over towards Beechwood, South Doyle. This is the general direction that it is moving once again towards the east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. So just putting a quick track on the worst of the storm itself. There it is, moving east-northeast at 60. That severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45. But near Wallen by 3:21, Dandridge 3:41, Newport 3:55. Just south of Lenoir City, new thing coming in of pea-sized hail. So some small hail also located in the storm as well, but very gusty winds, heavy rain, lots of thunder and lightning. Thankfully, it is moving pretty quickly, so flooding risk remains low. But as we've been talking about, the NOAA weather radio is down today. The transmitter here in East Tennessee, so you're going to have multiple alerts there, Heather.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so important too, because I know I keep a NOAA weather radio at my home. That's in our safe place, which your safe place should always be the lowest level of your home, away from windows. Basements are usually ideal, but you may have, a hallway, an interior closet, and then just grab something, cover your head, take your pets, take your family, of course, and that's where you want to kind of ride out these storms when you're in a warning. So we've had the watch, meaning conditions are favorable, and now we have active warnings. We do have that heart of that that storm that Jacob has just zoomed in on for you here in this active severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45. Anderson, Blount, Knox, severe included. To be more specific, that is even this kind of northern half of Blount County. It was almost all of Knox County. The storm cell's pretty large. The heart of that storm cell is what he was pointing out, kind of riding right there along west to south Knoxville, along the Blount to Sevier County line, and then especially getting up into Kodak area and then Sevierville to Pigeon Forge. You're on the edge still. But keep in mind, when you're near these storms, there's still a lot of winds that are stirring. I mean, some of those damage reports we've had come in were before the storms, right? That's why we kept talking about those high winds. High wind warning continues long after the storm. So we do have that active severe thunderstorm warning in Knox. We do have an active severe thunderstorm warning still coming up into Loudoun County, McMinn into Monroe County here. So I'm not ignoring you. We have different storm cells basically that are causing problems in parts of our area, kind of coming up into our area in terms of McMinn to Madisonville. And then big picture, you've got multiple strong storms then Anderson to Union to Claiborne County continuing to advance into our area. So that's where we have all these different storm cells, just more intensity coming up right here into that south to central valley as expected. So let's take a look here. I want to zoom in on those neighborhoods again. Actually, I'm going to give you a quick track. I know that Jacob was just showing that for you. Actually, that's what I was wondering. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning. So let's check that out for you right now. A brand new severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for more of McMinn and Monroe County, those storm cells we were just zoomed in on. So that warning goes until 3:30 p.m. So they've been kind of breaking this one up a little bit more. So this storm cell is coming up into more of Monroe County. But I want to show you here where that storm is also up into Madisonville now. So in essence, we've got two really nasty storm cells. I'm going to center this up to show you what I mean. So if you kind of compare the two, we've got a couple of storm cells that are really the most intense right now, and that would be South Knoxville to Blount County line, and then right over Madisonville. So let's track these two storms here. I'm going to track this brand new warning there for Madisonville. You guys have been included in a couple of different boxes. You can see they're kind of overlaid here as these storm cells become concerning, meet that threshold at 70 miles per hour. This is potentially damaging. As Jacob pointed out, they're moving closer to 50 to 60. The speeds of some of these storm cells have kind of ebbed and flowed, especially with our terrain, but those gusty winds, the main concern. Plus, we do have some hail indicators out of these storms. We have this particular severe storm, the newest warning, right over Madisonville right now, headed towards Lanier at 3:30, Look Rock 3:37, there Blount County, Walland 3:47 to Wares Valley just before 4, and Gatlinburg 4:03. So if you think about it here, I was just pointing out how this storm cell is really hitting the northern half of Sevier County. Well, then this storm cell down in Monroe County is going to unfortunately hit the other half of Blount and Sevier counties. So we really are just getting one half of the town and then the other. This is why I was really glad a lot of schools were closed today. Let's recenter this camera here, and actually see, look at my new hail indicators going off, letting me know these storms are trying to dump that hail on the backside as well. So I'm going to recenter over so I can track this storm for you at Blount to Knox County. I'm just going to get it up. With these moving as fast as they are, I want to make sure I've got plenty of room to get you that track here, a little bit better accurate reading. This storm cell, again, the one that we were zoomed in on a little bit ago, that's moving east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. That means while you are not included in the warning out towards Morristown, that'll be in your neck of the woods in about an hour. Can confirm we're at least hearing some pea-sized hail. Actually, will somebody step out? I don't want you to go out and don't step outside physically. Crack the door and let me know if you're seeing some of that hail. Be very careful there. Seymour 327. You got Kodak 337, Dandridge 350 to Morristown 402 and Parrotsville 408. So that's where we have this severe storm, and we're right here in Bearden. So that's what I was saying. I'm hearing at least what sounded like pea-sized hail on our flat roof, but that is continuing to blow through. So use caution. I would not encourage anyone at home, obviously, to step outside. Stay away from windows. You want to be in the lowest level of your home as this severe storm moves into more of Seymour to then Jefferson County, Hamblin, Cocke County. You're in that track at the current pace this storm is moving. And then we've got the
It's P-size.
P-size, that's what I was saying.
Back deck is flooding.
Oh, good. Our back deck is flooding. All right. So keep that in mind, too. If you've got those kind of drainage clogs that can happen in your area, this very, very heavy rain can lead to that just kind of clogging up, but then it'll recede. But this is very heavy rain, obviously. The bright reds to your pinks here, we're maxing out on those values of what it's scanning. That's very, very heavy rain plus that hail, and that's actually what makes it a little bit more bright, a little and more enhanced here. So we have an active severe thunderstorm for most of Knox County, the heart of it being right here at the Knox-Blunt line. Plus we have that severe thunderstorm warning down here into Madisonville, Monroe County. That is going to continue to then advance up to the other half of Blount County and severe. So we really have neighboring storm cells that are both meeting that severe threshold with those gusts of really even closer to 70 miles per hour at times. Plus we've had some reports, or at least indications, of 1-inch hail, and we were just outside of that, and we were getting pea-size hail. Actually, if our friends at the National Weather Service are watching as well, pea-size hail here in Bearden at the station. But there's the heart of that storm refreshing onto the the Knox County side. I want to stress that it was actually refreshing into more of the Knox County side, so it's kind of riding right there through South Knoxville. It's right over Pellissippi Parkway, so it's in that Hardin Valley to Bearden area and then cutting across South Knoxville. So that's more South Doyle here, and just about 324 lowest level of your home, away from windows with these winds. They're whipping out there. Seymour 330, Kodak 340 to Dandridge about 352, and Morristown 404. Again, Jefferson Hamlin not in the warning yet. As much as this storm cell is held together so far, you would be included. As much as these winds are whipping outside of a storm, you would be included. So notice those gusts are still picking up. In fact, I know meteorologist Jacob Durham is keeping an eye on the track of these storms for you here. And then we've also got Brittany Tarwater keeping an eye on damage. So let's see what we've got. What's the latest, guys?
Well, want to give you an update on some of the outages that we are reporting right now. KUB is looking at about 1,000 people who are right now without power, and then we've also been reporting on Oak Ridge. Some areas and pockets in Oak Ridge are without power because of downed trees in the area. Our meteorologists have been watching these storms for you. We want to show you what it looks like outside with some of the cameras that we have. This one is our East Tennessee Children's Hospital camera, and you can hardly see past Cumberland Avenue, and you kind of get a look at what's going on out there. A lot of raindrops. See that wind blowing that around just a little bit there with our Children's Hospital camera. And then here is our TDOT SmartWay camera. You can see that this right there is a tree that is down. It does look like that tree has been moved out of the road, but we have seen several reports of damage, mostly coming from downed trees. If it is safe for you, here's another look at that. You got some emergency crews right there blocking one lane. I think this is on I-75 because of that downed tree. So heads up, if you do have to be out, TDOT is warning. If you don't need to be, you can see that wind that is whipping our cameras around. If you don't need to be outside, they urge you not to be, especially out on the roads. But if you do, take caution. See how wet and how slick it is. This is one of our cameras that is on I-40, and not a lot of people out there, but it is very, very wet. We're hearing the rain coming down on our roof right now, and then looking down further, I think we can go even further down I-40, showing you another look at what it looks like outside as our team continues to track these storms that are hitting really hard right now, especially in this part of town. Just a reminder for you, if you can safely take some pictures, if there is damage in your neighborhood, in your area, right outside of your window, if it is safe to do that, we would love to see what's going on there, our eyes and our ears, and what's going on in your neighborhoods and your communities. So please add them to our WVLT Weather Vols Facebook page. That's really, really helpful for us. We do have one more live picture that we can show you. This is for one of our cameras that is right near I-40 and 75, right at the split there near Watt Road. You can see those roads are really slick in the area, so heads up, be careful if you do have to be on the road. But again, I see some flooding in that parking lot too. Chris, thanks for showing that to us. So TDOT is warning that there could be ponding, could be flooding on some of the roadways. So again, take caution if you do in fact need to be out. Our team's working really hard for you today. Let's get back to our chief meteorologist, Heather Haley. Yeah,
we've got meteorologist Ben Cathy. I know he's running around assessing these storms too. We're getting information in from the National Weather Service, from you guys at home. Keep it coming, because then we relay that to the National Weather Service. That's how they can map out everything that was impacted by these storms. Again, we do have that active severe thunderstorm warning until 3:45. That is coming into right at that edge of Anderson County. More of Blount County, Sevier County, centered up right at that Knox-Blount line, coming out of Loudoun County as well. But notice it's kind of a strand of intense rain with this storm. So there's just segments of very, very heavy rain, and then it kind of lightens up just a bit, and then it just ramps right back up. And that's part of where it's kind of dropping that hail as well. So the gust of 75 miles per hour is even being tagged by the National Weather Service as confirmed. So that is some very intense winds here. Plus, we have the severe thunderstorm warning still in Monroe County. Again, that storm cell is really just going to fill in the gap for the other half of Blount County and Sevier County as that moves northeast. That severe thunderstorm warning is until 4:15. We just have an update here on that tornado watch. Actually, that just cleared. So as we have these storms, we've got scattered strong storms, Union to Claiborne to southeastern Kentucky, and then those severe storm cells just lined up from North Knox to downtown to South Knox to coming into Blount to coming out of Loudoun, covering up most of Monroe and moving into more of Blount and Sevier. So I wanted to give you a big picture for those of you in Crossville and Wartburg and Jamestown. No, you don't have any more storms. You still have the winds. Like I said earlier, for those of you who are just joining us, the National Weather Service in Nashville actually said their damage reports went up after the storms moved out because the winds are that bad, meaning the winds are continuing to cause problems behind the storms. We still have those strong storms again here at the Tennessee-Kentucky line. That severe thunderstorm right over Knox County, right at that Blount to Sevier line. It's really riding right over South Knoxville. If you have loved ones in South Knoxville who maybe normally rely on a NOAA weather radio, the East Tennessee transmitter is down. Make sure they are aware. Stay away from windows. Stay informed to stay safe. Our First Alert Weather app will give you location-based notifications. So the fact that we're here in this severe thunderstorm warning in Bearden, I'm getting messages about lightning nearby, so you can get those notifications based on your location. We have that severe thunderstorm right over South Knoxville, moving east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. So that does come up into Kodak here in just about 15 minutes, 3:34 to be exact. Dandridge 3:47 to Newport just before 4, 4:10 for Whitesburg, 4:17 for Mossheim. That's Greene County. Right, that's way beyond the warning box. So that storm cell is moving that fast in the center of a warning box that continues for 20 more minutes over Knox. And then, as I mentioned, we're basically hitting the other half of Blount County and Sevier County with this other severe thunderstorms. So we have a band of heavy rain and storms. I want to track this separately because obviously that pace would be different based on that location. So that's coming up into Maryville right now at 3:28, Walland going into 3:36 to Gatlinburg at 3:53, English Mountain there in Sevier County 4:06, and Newport 4:13, to then extend down to these other severe storm cells coming out of Madisonville, moving up along the Smokies here. That means that's going to continue to advance towards Look Rock at 3:35, to Walland 3:45, and Wares Valley 3:53, to the city of Gatlinburg at 4:02, and English Mountain 4:19. So that is just multiple severe storm cells that are basically lined up between Madisonville out towards Tellico Plains. Those storms then are moving up over into the North Carolina side of the mountains, so especially Madisonville to Sweetwater, coming up into Greenback to Maryville, to South Knoxville, to downtown Knoxville, to North Knox County. Those are the different parts. Actually, I see Jacob's got the winds pulled up again. The high wind warning continues till 1 a.m. and those winds right now are whipping even outside of these severe storms.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. The National Weather Service just put it in their chat, and that's why I pulled up the gusts behind me. But over at McGee-Tyson, winds now reported at 63 miles per hour. So that's why we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. Of course, even outside of the storms themselves, like towards Monticello, back in Wayne County, there in southeastern Kentucky, still gusting to 43 miles per hour. Expect these wind gusts to continue to be elevated throughout the evening. Also getting some reports out of Blount County near Maryville of some wind damage, some trees uprooted and snapped, so we'll look into that as well. But this storm continuing to pack a punch as it moves off towards the east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. Some good news is that they have allowed that severe thunderstorm warning to expire from Monroe as well as Roane counties, but it still does continue for areas like Anderson, Blount, Knox, Loudoun, Sevier, and Union, and that is until 3:45. So you can see lightning now continuing to push off towards the east. It has come down just a little bit, so that's some good news. Maybe it's a little weaker than what it once was when it moved back across the South Valley, of course, but Nonetheless, this is now moving out of Knoxville. The rain is really kind of let up here in Bearden here at the station, not hearing it quite as much on the roof as what we were earlier. But nonetheless, if you live in Morristown towards Dandridge, this storm is heading towards your general area. So if I stop it here and show you what we are dealing with, it's once again, it's moving off towards the east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. Strong winds. It does have a little bow to it, so that's indicating those strong winds that we are talking about. Areas that would be impacted up next, Dandridge coming in at 3:35, so about 10 minutes before it hits where you are. Morristown towards 3:44, then towards Rogersville and Greenville if it holds together at the top of the hour. So something that we'll continue to watch, of course. They are continuing the tornado watch. That's what you're going to see there. But they have canceled the tornado watch. That is good news. Let me get that alert map up there for you and show you who is in and who is out. They have dropped that tornado watch for Morgan, Ray, Roane, and Scott County. So that is some positive news. They're slowly trimming it back. It's going to continue to be that way as this line of showers and storms move through. It'll probably be out of Knoxville. I'd say at the top of the hour by 4 o'clock, that tornado watch should be dropped for our area, and then it'll slowly march its way towards the east as those storms do. But still got quite a few strong damaging winds right now being reported. But of course, meteorologist Heather Haley is standing by as well, tracking those storms for us.
Yeah, and again, we've got that severe thunderstorm warning active right now between Maryville and Knoxville, and then continues until 3:45. But I want to show you some of the reports that are coming in from the National Weather Service. As we mentioned, we started getting some reports really even before the storms, but they can also continue after. So there is a report of non-thunderstorm wind damage. Again, that's before the storms in Knox County. But then some of the new reports coming in right here where that severe thunderstorm warning is sitting over Blount County. There's actually reports of a roof down that's been ripped off, as well as trees down. And notice that is right there at the airport, Alcoa to Maryville. So that's right there where that severe storm is sitting at the Knox-Blount line. And that is where we already have a couple of reports coming in. It's important when you can safely assess the situation. So you may obviously be able to see a tree topple outside and not have to go out there. But when you can safely update us, National Weather Service, it's important because that way we can get this information out to everyone. Those gusts have been reading even 60 miles per hour before the thunderstorms. So that's why there's all this fuel for these storms. Gusts even 76 miles per hour in Sevier County before the thunderstorms. We do also have some new reports of damage coming in right at the Monroe-Loudoun County line. Again, that's getting into thunderstorm wind damage from that active severe thunderstorm. We do have that also right at I-75, really at that Monroe-Loudoun County line. So big picture, obviously we have multiple storm cells. This active severe thunderstorm warning in Knox County into Blount County, and that is coming up into Sevier County here as that moves into more of Kodak, Seymour, Sevierville next. Then we also have this severe thunderstorm warning coming out of Madisonville now. It's at least kind of backing off in the intensity on the rain part of this storm cell, but then this tail has to drag up through Blount County. Meanwhile, we have strong storms in Union to Granger to the Tennessee-Kentucky line. So I'm not ignoring you guys. You obviously want to still be indoors. You don't want to be on the roads. You still want to be really not having to deal with these winds that are packing a punch. And then we're adding in that risk for severe weather with these active severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's where we have these storm cells. I'm going to actually continue to assess this for you. I'm going to move my camera here just a bit. And that is going to be important so I can track that for you here as we do have these storms continuing to move east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So that is going to continue to advance into more of northeast Tennessee, into really the foothills of the mountains. And that is where this current active severe thunderstorm warning is moving up out of South Knoxville. It is getting even noisier in Jefferson and Hamblin. That is moving up your way right now. Over the next hour, it's going to be in Kodak at 3:33, and Dandridge 3:45, Morristown 4 o'clock to Whitesburg 4:08, and Greenville 4:21. I mentioned some of those damage reports we're getting from the National Weather Service. I think Brittany Tarwater has an update for us as well.
Yeah, Heather, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for everybody who's been sending us pictures of what you're seeing outside in a safe way. We'll start with some of what you are seeing in and around your homes and your neighborhood. This is coming from Oak Ridge. Some power outages in that area, some power poles you see there there that are down because of the winds, and some trees are down. We actually do have an update on some of the outage reports. Power is restored on Wedgwood Road. This is in Oak Ridge, but still you are without power if you're in the Nebraska Avenue area, Outer Drive area, Bermuda Road, Robertsville Road, Montana Avenue. All of you right now without power. They are working to get that back on for you. And then this picture here is coming out of, what area is this picture here, if you don't mind, give me a heads up. This is coming from Deborah Haley, North Knox County. Heather, thank you. It's showing pictures of the dogwood tree that is down. That's been there for 25 years. And that tree has been uprooted and taken out because of the storms and the wind that we're getting right now in our area. And then this coming from, guys, just like you've been warning us, it's moving east. Now, Bill Carl warning us, here's what it looks like in Seymour. That picture coming just about 10 minutes ago. You see those dark clouds that are rumbling in. And power outages continue. Right now, KUB map is showing us more than 10,000 people in the area without power. And just for context, we checked in on this about 15 minutes ago, and it was just about 1,000. That number has jumped up now to 10,000 people in the Knoxville area, who 15,000 now in the Knoxville area and KUB who are without power. That number is continuing to grow. People without power. Heather's been reminding you, keep your phones charged, keep those alerts turned on so that you are notified when there is anything happening in and around where you are. Of course, we'll continue to keep you posted as well. And just a reminder that WVLT First Alert Weather app, the QR code right here, if you don't have your phone in your hand right now and the ability to get that, we will have it up in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, that QR code. Just open up the camera function in your phone and point it straight at the QR code. It'll take you straight to the app, and we will continue to keep you informed, keep you and your family safe. Let's get back out to our Chief Meteorologist, Heather Haley.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the NOAA weather radio transmitter went down today for East Tennessee. So if that's what you would normally depend on, you always want to have a couple of sources for weather alerts. So really, obviously, cell phone towers technically can get knocked down. So in this case, the apps are your safest bet. We'll send you messages based on your GPS location too, which is nice. So it can be specific to your part of Knox County versus another, specific to your part of Blount County versus another, since it is Maryville to Alcoa, and then really most of Knox County included in this active severe thunderstorm warning. It is also Kodak, Seymour, Sevierville included in this warning that goes until 3:45, 14 more minutes. Based on the way this storm has been acting, that could easily get extended out into more of Dandridge area, into really that leading edge, ramping up those rains in Granger County and those winds. And again, this is moving east-northeast. We have an active tornado warning that just came in right here. We have an active tornado warning. It's right there in the southeast corner of Monroe County, so it's going up into the mountains. But those of you who are seeing that on your screen, I wanted to show you where that's really riding over into more of the Cherokee side. But in terms of parts of our area in Monroe County, it's riding right there outside of Tellico Plains. That's where we are seeing this active spin up there. So basically, it met those mountains and those winds started to twist a bit, and that is really on the North Carolina side. So I wanted to highlight that twist there is on the North Carolina side. But as always today, we've been saying it for all of these storms with these winds, when we are getting these warnings especially, you want to make sure that you go to the lowest level of your home away from windows. That is the safest shelter, where we have this severe thunderstorm warning in most of Monroe County, and then it's twisting there really on the North Carolina side of the line, and that's why there's an active tornado warning into more so Cherokee. And then we have multiple severe storms here between Monroe, Blount, Knox County into Sevier County, and then multiple strong storms in this northeast. There it is. So it would probably get extended. And there it is, that brand new severe thunderstorm warning coming out of Knox County. And this is that same storm cell that's moving up into Jefferson County, Hamblin County, Granger County, Cott County to Greene County. This goes until 4:15. So again, now we are taking the severe thunderstorm that is over Knox and rolling it across into more of Sevier, into more of Jefferson. And this is more of the lower elevations of Sevier on this particular storm cell, all of Jefferson, all of Hamblin, the lower half of Cott County, including Newport, including I-40, up I-81 into Greene County, and then right there into Granger County as well. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15. So those gusts are roaring. They're not dying down. The heavy rain, the frequent lightning, the hail. So we have the strong storms coming up Maynardville. I know you're right right on the edge. It's still really intense, and you're part of this kind of storm cluster that is really sitting right here, coming up into more of Morristown area, Rutledge, Talbot, Jefferson City, Dandridge. So you can see that band of storm cells is kind of clustered together here. It's just we're picking up more of that potential for damaging wind and hail out of this part of that storm. So let's track it for you here. We're going to start on the southern edge, the Blount County side, moving up east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. So Blount County to Sevier County to Cocke County to Greene County on this particular side of this storm cell. That's Knob Creek 338. That's Boyd's Creek 344. Dandridge 4 o'clock on the dot. 10 minutes after 4 for Newport, Mohawk, and Greene County. That's 424. That means this band here, you see how it's kind of bowing out on this side of East Knox County. So that is obviously some very intense, a severe storm right there over East Knox County and moving east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. That puts it in Dandridge here in just about 15 minutes, really. So Beach Springs getting you down to your communities, 337. Kodak, 337 to the Smoky Stadium right there. Dandridge 349 and Greenville 425. Now the northern part of this storm cell as well. Actually, I need to shift my camera here just a bit so that I can make sure I get you a good accurate track here. So we're going to center up over the northern part of this storm cell and track that for you. So as we get that storm cell continuing to advance northeast, so you've got your outer bands of some heavy rain, those gusts of 70 miles per hour, and then this is the storm that has really even included some of that hail as well, and that is moving across Cherokee Lake here at 348. Morristown just before 4 o'clock, a few minutes after 4 for Whitesburg to Greenville at 421 and 429 for Raytown. So that is that active severe thunderstorm that continues up into more of Sevier, Cocke, Jefferson, Hamblin, and Granger County, in Knox right now, in Maryville area right now. And then we also have that severe thunderstorm coming up in basically the southern half of Blount County, coming out of Monroe County, and that'll be riding up here along the mountains like Gatlinburg to Pigeon Forge, and then areas into Hartford, for example, the higher elevations of Cocke County. I know meteorologist Jacob Durham is also keeping an eye on these winds, which are a problem before, during, and after the storms.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. So even though that the storms are past you, it doesn't mean that the winds are going to be much more relaxed, if you want to put it that way. 43-mile-per-hour gusts still in Monticello. They updated the one at McGee-Tyson at the airport, now up to 67 miles per hour. Of course, with that severe thunderstorm as it blew through, it'll be interesting to see Sevierville back to Morristown as this storm continues to move off towards the north and the east at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So those wind gusts will more than likely come up as that storm approaches. Of course, meteorologist Heather Haley was just showing you that, but thankfully things are beginning to relax just a little bit for downtown Knoxville. Of course, we have those severe thunderstorm warnings. That does include portions of Cocke, Granger, Greene, Hamblin, Hancock, Hawkins, Jefferson, Knox, Sevier, and Union until 4:15. So that's going for about another 35 minutes or so as that storm continues to lift off towards the north and east. But lightning has really come down with that. Nonetheless, the big story with that is definitely the heavy rainfall. That's going to lower visibility. So if you're traveling there along Interstate 81, it's pretty tough to go even 40 as you're going out of Knox into portions of Jefferson County. Very heavy rainfall there, about to push into Morristown, Tazewell, over towards Sneedville. Beginning to see some of that heavy rainfall as well. And as Heather mentioned, it's beginning to hook just a little bit, kind of bow out. So that's an indication of that surge of wind that's going to be pushing off towards the east as we head throughout the next 35 to 40 minutes. And you can see right in around Strawberry Plains over towards Boyd's Creek, Kodak, Dandridge, White Pine, and Morristown. You're up next as this heavy rainfall continues to make its way through. And of course, a local storm report there at the ASOL station at the airport, 67-mile-per-hour winds. Also, Madisonville, they are reporting thunderstorm wind damage, trees down in Madisonville off of Stennett Road location. So that's the area that the storm has already passed. Of course, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County. That does include Madisonville. Now, the worst is out of your area now, pushing back over into the North Carolina mountains towards Cades Cove as well as Clingman's Dome. That's where we do have that tornado warning. Thankfully, that is across the border into the North Carolina mountains, so that is out of the viewing region. But still heavy rainfall, a few lightning strikes in around downtown Knoxville at the moment over towards Morristown and Dandridge. But let's go ahead and put another track on that for those that may just be joining with us. We've been on the air for quite some time tracking this as it moved through downtown Knoxville, brought very heavy rainfall as well as some small hail here in Bearden at the station, but areas like Dandridge 340. So right now over towards Rogersville 358, Mohawk 403, Greenville by 423, and then heading up in towards the Tri-Cities as we head closer to 430. So the good news is the line is moving pretty briskly off towards the east and northeast, so it won't be around too long. But even behind that, those winds, as we're mentioning, are an issue. Here's a look at those wind gusts once again. Still 36 there in Sevierville to 26 in Madisonville. They were up to 49 miles per hour early. And thankfully those storms have kind of pushed off towards the east. But even behind that, still 35 to 40 miles per hour. We got that high wind warning that goes into effect until 1 o'clock in the morning on your Saturday. So that's something that we'll be tracking as well. Meteorologist Heather Haley standing by, of course, tracking those storms as well.
Yeah, and for those of you who maybe you're kind of bouncing in and out, or if you lose TV signal, obviously, unfortunately, that's part of what this power outage is. Meteorologist Ben Cathy is here as well, making sure that we've got you covered on social media, on our WVLT First Alert Weather app. So we are literally everywhere. Meteorologist Kyle Granger is out there actually monitoring the storms in the field too. So we've got these different angles for you, no matter what's more convenient or safest for you when we are in active weather in a First Alert Weather day like today. This active severe thunderstorm warning, I know it's quieter. Dandridge to Newport, obviously got some winds kicking up Morristown. The storm is still headed to you. So you just got the severe thunderstorm warning as to that severe storm that was in Knox County that was riding along the Blount County line that's going to ride over Seymour and is moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So again, this goes until 4:15. We got 35 more minutes for you in Cott County, Granger County, Hamblin County, Jefferson, all of Jefferson County, and then that northern half of Sevier County too. Then you have the tail end of this severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County. That's Anderson as well. You're kind of getting on that backside here. It's still very windy, of course, but then the severe storm itself is more so coming out of downtown Knoxville and South Knoxville. And then the heaviest part of that, the most intense part, is really more so at this Knox Sevier to Jefferson line. And then big picture here, we have a cluster of strong storms right at the Tennessee-Kentucky line, Union to Claiborne to Bell to Harlan. And then we have really what is some strong storms riding along the Smokies, where that severe storm from Monroe County went over into the North Carolina side of the mountains. So that's where these different storm cells are moving through our area. Tazewell, I know you've got a strong storm right overhead. We're picking up some very heavy rain for you, some of that lightning, and then it basically just intensifies to reach that severe threshold. So for a storm to be severe, it can be very noisy. It can be a lot of lightning, but you either have to have 1-inch hail or gusts of 60 miles per hour, actually technically 58. Right, so either one of those would meet this threshold, and unfortunately this storm cell over Knox County has met both. So in this case, we actually have had that history here of those winds as well as that hail, and we've been seeing that kind of pop up here on our live radar as well as we're scanning this storm. So right now, the most intense part of that storm, let's just dive right into your neighborhoods, because I think that's really important, especially when we are coming into a new community and you're going, oh my goodness, what is going on? So I want to actually zoom down to the communities, to the highways here, to the neighborhoods as this is coming in. So we're going to zoom in, and then I'm going to shift your view to keep you centered up. So that's Granger County right there, Mary Chapel to Cherokee Park. Notice that's Highway 11W coming up right now into Avondale Springs to Tate Springs as well. You're right here in the heart of this severe storm moving northeast at Panther Creek State Park to Rutledge. There's 92 and 11W as well. Washburn, as we look further closer to the Knox County line to Joppa to New Corinth to Tampico, coming down a little bit closer there. Blaine, notice you're kind of right there on the backside of that active excessive rainfall, those gusts of 70 miles per hour. Perrin Hollow, coming right here there into Hodges at Strawberry Plains, coming into Jefferson County now, coming out of Mascot. So right there at the Sevier County line, Smoky Stadium is right there in the heart of this severe storm to Kodak, coming out of the French Broad River. So now let's drive up 40 and 25W along this edge of this severe storm into Green Hill and Dandridge. So it's kind of riding right here along I-40, taking 25W to Flat Gap over Willardtown here at 11E, right outside of Strawberry Plains to Newmarket. If you have loved ones in any of these communities that you know normally rely on a NOAA weather radio, that transmitter is down for East Tennessee. Jefferson City, make sure y'all are staying informed to stay safe. Make sure you're staying away from windows, lowest level of your home. Collier's Corner to Kimbrough. And then it's really headed up into more of White Pine to Fernwood to Hales Crossroads. So I'm going to zoom back out now to show you. Again, I know I was going to zoom in really tight there because I wanted to highlight the communities that were literally in the worst part of this severe storm right now as it's coming out of Knox County into Kodak, into Jefferson County, into Granger County, into Hamblin County. So I actually have to zoom out a little bit more just so I can track that for you here because it is moving so fast at a 60-mile-per-hour pace. It's moving at interstate speeds up the interstate, up I-81 towards the Tri-Cities at about 60 miles per hour. So that's going to put it into Morristown. Let me clear that so you can see that top line. Morristown 355, Rogersville at 416, Raytown at 427, to Telford at 436, and Kingsport at 443. And that's the heart of that severe thunderstorm that I wanted to track for you here. You can see the edges, which I want to say don't count out the edges, unfortunately, because when those winds kind of dump out, they have a tendency to kind of fan out. So you can be right outside of the heart of the heaviest rain, of some of that hail, but still get those kind of downburst winds that just fan out and get that potential for some wind damage. And that would include even out towards Maynardville, the northern half of Granger County, Tazewell here. You're kind of riding right on that edge where you still have a very intense thunderstorm. So basically just don't consider that your part of this isn't as big of a deal. It's still a big deal. It's just the most intense part of this severe thunderstorm is sitting over really the Kodak area into Jefferson County, coming across most of Granger County, all of Hamblin County next, and then kind of skirting right along the southern half of Jefferson County and Newport area here as that storm cell moves east-northeast. We no longer have a severe thunderstorm warning in Knoxville. Those winds then are still the concern behind these storms. Maryville, you're no longer in a severe thunderstorm, but you still have some heavy rain, and that is where we still have some of those gusty winds picking up behind it. As you can see, they're ranging in our area anywhere from 20 to 70 miles per hour. And then over here is where you still have that potential for wind damage behind the storm cells on the plateau. Those storms were in your neck of the woods hours ago. We're now looking at the center of the valley and northeast Tennessee here with these storm cells lined up across the eastern half of our area. So we really are going to see these continue to advance east-northeast. Keeping an eye on our team here. I know everybody's juggling a lot. For those of you at home, just trying to keep an eye on everything. I promise you we're covering all of the bases here. I know meteorologist Jacob Durham is also looking at some of the lightning and hail that is included in that storm cell, but I know we're going to go to Brittany Tarwater now for the latest on some of the reports that are coming in.
Yeah, Heather, unfortunately, this story has taken a very, very sad turn. Our station in Nashville is just now reporting that one person has been killed driving, struck by a tree in the same system that our team has been tracking for you. That's out of Humphrey County in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. We will continue to keep you updated on that sad turn in this story based on this weather event that we're following for you. Big picture, almost 500,000 people statewide are without power. 400,000 people, our Ben Cathy is reporting, are without power statewide. KUB alone is reporting now up to 22,000 people who do not have power. That number, just for some context, for some reference, about a half an hour ago when we checked in, it was about 1,000 people. Now that number is up to 22,000 people. That's just in the Knoxville area, KUB customers without power. Some of the roads in our area are, especially in Loudoun County, we are reporting several hazards, several downed trees in the area. In Loudoun County, we're getting reports primarily in the Tellico Village and Greenback areas. Deputies, crews from Loudoun County are working right now to clear the roadway. So if you live in Loudoun County, in that area in Greenback, please be careful. If you have to be on the roads, use extreme caution. If you do not need to be out, they're urging you to stay home and to stay safe. We're getting several other reports of downed trees across our area. I want to show you this video that my friend actually sent us from West Knoxville, just showing the wind and the rain whipping around in the backyard. Maybe the same story that several of you are seeing in your backyard and in your neighborhoods right now. You can just see it, you can hear it coming down too as well. And then in Madisonville, look at this video. Travis Dockery sent this video of a trampoline flying away. Our team has been reporting on the strong gusty winds that are coming through, and something like this can really easily pick up and move. So be careful. Heather's been warning us about debris in the area. This is just another warning and a really strong visual that shows you debris can be really dangerous, especially around windows. And if you are in fact needing to be outside, of course, we're urging you to stay inside to stay safe. But just a reminder that things like this can be floating around when we have such strong winds in the area. This again from Travis Dockery from Madisonville. And then Ben, you just were outside. Meteorologist Ben Cathy was just outside. This is right outside of our studios here with the strong pea-sized hail and strong winds, strong rain, and of course our studios are in the Bearden area in West Knoxville. Again, more than 22,000 people are without power. That's just in KUB area. Statewide, about 400,000 people are without power, and we're getting reports from crews, not just in East Tennessee, but all across the state, Middle Tennessee, who are reporting downed trees. That's a very consistent problem that we're seeing as far as damage goes, especially on our roadways. We're getting some reports of backed up traffic. This is from our TDOT map that's showing where traffic is heavy. We do tend to see heavy traffic, of course, when we have storms like we're having today. You can see the wet, slick roadways, and just based off of our camera, you can see we've been warning about the winds, and our cameras are whipping around in the winds too. So use, again, extreme caution if you do need to be out. There are several reports of debris in roadways and down trees, down power lines. We are watching everything for you, trying to keep you safe. Just another reminder, you can use that QR code that's right there on your screen to download the First Alert Weather app. And you'll get all of the information sent directly to you, to your phone, trying to keep you and your family safe. Let's get to our Chief Meteorologist, Heather Haley.
We're still in that active severe thunderstorm warning. This is what was moving across Knox County, but important to note that it is starting to show a little bit more of a twist. So in essence, we have a severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. That is what you want to tell yourself. Again, a tornado watch was issued for our area. That means conditions were favorable, and we're seeing that even more so out of this particular storm cell that is right between Dandridge, Rutledge, coming up into Talbot, Morristown, and then coming across more of Jefferson County to Hamblin County. Again, our active severe thunderstorm warning for Cott County, Granger County, Hamblin County, Jefferson County. This close into the live radar, we're actually getting a really good scan of that storm, but then even then it'll start to kind of break up right over certain parts of our area. So just to kind of show you here the different pieces and parts of this severe storm that is at least showing that indication that it could be twisting a bit, showing that rotation potential. I know I can see meteorologist Jacob Durham has got it up there. It's kind of trying to twist just a bit between Dandridge and Jefferson City. So right here over 40 to 92 to getting into Jefferson City here. That is where we have that potential for some of that twisting here happening on the backside of this storm. So I'm going to shift our camera view to continue to keep an eye on this severe thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. It is moving towards White Pine next. It's basically moving up I-81. So there's the 40-81 split here in case you're trying to lose your bearings. You can see, again, that's what I was talking about with that hole right over the radar site. Jefferson City, you're right there in that potential for that spin up as it is moving right over the radar site, right over Panther Creek State Park to 92 into Granger County, and then moving up along the Granger, Jefferson, Hamblin kind of corner here up towards Morristown, and then getting up here into that northeast corner of this storm, this severe warning here right at 11W towards Cherokee Park into Morristown. Now Whitesburg, you're out ahead of it. Mohawk, you're out ahead of it, but you're included in that warning as it moves northeast. Mooresburg, you're really right on that edge there as well, where the more intense part of this storm is headed your way. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning for Cott County, Granger County, Hamblin County, Jefferson County included until 4:15. So we've got about 20 more minutes here on this active severe thunderstorm warning centered up right now between Mooresburg, Morristown, Dandridge to Jefferson City to Rutledge, coming up north and east, basically driving up I-81 at the moment. So big picture, we have that active severe thunderstorm warning in our area, but it is also showing that a potential for some rotation as it has gotten closer to that radar site there in Morristown as well. You have have strong storms all across Claiborne County, ramping up there into Sneedville, and then meeting that edge of this severe storm there into Granger County and Hamblin County as well, into more of Jefferson County and Cocke County. And then we still have some strings of heavy rain, so that can suddenly limit your visibility in Knox County. I know we heard it here on our roof here in Bearden, but then there's still windy conditions behind it. So that's why there's been kind of twofold to our first alert weather day today, with this risk for severe weather that we're in now, and then the ongoing winds, the ongoing high wind warning until later tonight. So right now, what is currently impacting most folks is absolutely the wind, but then you kind of step up that damage risk as we get into these severe thunderstorms like we have right now between Morristown and Dandridge, and moving east-northeast at 60 miles per hour does mean it'll actually be exiting our area headed towards the Tri-Cities. So right there on track into that 4 o'clock hour for the tail end of our first alert for the storms part of this story. That does take the severe thunderstorm into Whitesburg at 4:04, Baileyton about 4:24, Geraldstown 4:33 to 4:43 for Sulphur Springs, Johnson City 4:53 out of our coverage area. So big picture, we do still have some strong storms, some downpours, pockets at Gatlinburg, for example, some heavy rain, but you're not on a severe thunderstorm warning. Heavy rain in pockets between Maryville, Friendsville. Again, I know y'all had a severe thunderstorm warning earlier. Downtown Knoxville. Again, that's where it's winds behind the storms, just like we're seeing those gusts right now. Let's get to meteorologist Jacob Durham. I know he's keeping an eye on that active severe thunderstorm warning as well between Dandridge and Morristown.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. Still tracking that severe thunderstorm warning until 4:15. Getting a couple of reports maybe of a tree down on a house in Maryville, so something that we'll definitely look in for you as well. A few photos on social media of that coming in from the National Weather Service, of course. But this storm still moving off towards the east-northeast at roughly 50 miles per hour. Possible tornado is showing some signs of a little rotation. Nothing strong enough for a tornado warning to be prompted, at least at the moment. So that is some good news. But we are continuing to watch this once again move to the east-northeast at about 50 miles per hour. And we'll kind of throw up some of those velocities and show you where some of the strongest winds are, of course, with this. Basically right over the Morristown radar at the moment. You can see even up towards areas like Sneedville, back towards Tazewell, some strong downpours. Now, if you live in Tazewell, you're not technically under this severe thunderstorm warning, but the areas that we're most concerned about potential rotation really is right around the Morristown vicinity, right there at the radar. There in portions of Union, Granger, and Hamblin County. So right there is where we're watching for that little bit of rotation possibly. So areas like Morristown, you need to go ahead and treat this maybe as a tornado warning as such, especially with these strong damaging winds that are pushing through at the moment, upwards of 70 miles per hour at times. So make sure to get into that interior place in your house, whether it be a basement, maybe a closet, or the hallway under the stairs, whatever is the most interior part of your house. But if we look at what's going on in terms of lightning and things like that, the lightning has really kind of trended down. So that's something that we can positively kind of take away from that, so the storm might not be quite as intense, especially as when it moved over Knox County as it continues to lift off towards the east-northeast. But so far, the heaviest rain right now, Sneedville, back over towards Rogersville and downtown there in Morristown as well, even towards Dandridge, as Heather was mentioning, some heavy downpours, even some gusty winds on the backside of this. She just showed you the gust, even along the plateau, 45 to 50 miles per hour at times. And that's still, especially with all the rainfall that we've seen lately, is enough to bring down some of those trees. So we could still be dealing with some of those sporadic power outages as well. For now, though, we'll toss it over to meteorologist Heather Haley.
Well, I wanted to show you, because we were just talking about how these reports keep coming in. We're now at about 16 reports of damage, of downed trees, of different really issues that have been caused by these storms already, wind gusts that are potentially damaging. So just kind of mapping that out in our area alone, again, we're at 16. And then there are more even just to our south and more just to our west as this storm system has moved into our area. Unfortunately, the reports will keep coming in after the storms pass, because that's when it's safer for people to then say, yes, I had a problem, this tree came down at my home, whatever it may be. We'll relay some of the reports that we're getting. I know meteorologist Ben Cathy has been in our chat with the National Weather Service, relaying some of those reports that you guys are giving us in our WVLT Weather Vols Facebook group. So it is very much a conversation, so we can keep track of everything impacting you, your neighbors, your loved ones, as we do have that active severe thunderstorm warning right now for about 17 more minutes. That includes really Cott County coming in this north edge. So this is the batch of the storm that's riding right here along Dandridge that's about to move in your part of Cott County and then move up into Greene County. Then we have that active, really severe thunderstorm. Look at that, they just refreshed it, pull it out of Jefferson County, very good. Now we've got a ride over Morristown into Granger County and moving east-northeast into more of Hawkins. So Rogersville is next as that continues to advance northeast. Again, we have that active severe thunderstorm warning still until 4:15. So what they did is said, okay, Jefferson, I know it's still windy. I know you're still getting some downpours, kind of like what we're seeing in Knoxville now, but it doesn't meet that severe threshold, which would be winds of at least 60 miles per hour. We're getting close to 70 in these storms in this particular warning, and or hail of 1 inch. And we've been seeing some hail indicators out of these storms as well. So that's where we have the active severe thunderstorm warning. And then we have multiple strong storms here, Gatlinburg area, Pigeon Forge, South and East Knox County, Northeast Knox County, Corryton, right over Jefferson County still, into Claiborne County, Cott County and Harlan County there zoomed in. You can see what I mean in terms of it still being very intense on that rain, that hail potential, and then we have that severe storm right over Morristown. Actually, Brittany Tarwater's flagging me down. She's got some important information she needs to relay to you.
Yeah, Heather, thanks a lot. We are keeping an eye on our roadways and want to keep you posted there, but just wanted to welcome you into WVLT News at 4, of course, as we are tracking this WVLT First Alert today. Thousands of people without power across the state and across East Tennessee this afternoon. We're watching KUB, we're watching across the state. Almost 500,000 people right now across our state are without power, and we just reported to you that the storm has now turned deadly in Middle Tennessee. A man in Humphreys County was killed as they were driving down the road, hit by a tree. So a sad update, but it's still part of the same system that our team of meteorologists is tracking for you.
Yeah, definitely something that we're going to keep on looking at throughout this afternoon. We did just want to come and tell you that we are starting WVLT News at 4, but as these storms continue to track across East Tennessee, we're going to stay with the weather team as we continue to move. And so we're going to keep an eye on this. Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley is back at our weather wall. Heather, let's go ahead and give it back to you and keep on tracking this as it moves across East Tennessee.
Yeah, and I will say for those of you who are saying, well, it's quiet at your home, just remember that even the wind damage reports are coming in here. I think we've got the wrong computer synced up here. If you guys could go ahead and switch me over to Max 1 here at the key wall, please, like we've been using, that would be great. We are continuing to monitor these severe storms. There we go. This is we've got so many meteorologists working on all of our different computers. That way we can keep you informed via our app, via social media, via our live stream. We've been having you covered for a while now, as we do have an active severe thunderstorm warning right now into really just that northern edge of Cott County. So most of Cott County is not included in this, but all of Hamblen County, really that kind of far northeast corner of Granger County, then is coming up into more of Hamblen County and Hawkins County. It's really right on the edge of Hamblen, I should say, or excuse me, I'm sorry, Hancock County. It's right on the edge, coming up into Hawkins County. The 3 H's right here. Hamblen County, you are right in the center of it, as we do have that severe thunderstorm there. Again, that warning until 4:15. So this storm is basically driving along I-81 at interstate speeds, which also means it's going to exit our area rather quickly, as that's moving into Whitesburg here in just a few minutes. That moves into Sir Gowensville just before 4:30, 4:34 for Churchill to 4:43 Kingsport. Again, that moves out of our area at that point. Then behind it, this is where we have a string of really some still heavy rain, some rumbles of thunder, some smaller hail behind what is now one lone severe thunderstorm, where we had multiple earlier when we first went on. So now we still have some active weather through parts of Knox County, and then that severe thunderstorm warning right over Hamblen County, moving up into Rogersville area, kind of moving out of our area over the next hour. You still have storms between Sneedville and Harlan as well. A little easier to see what I mean in terms of it just ramping up in intensity. So I'd say strong storm Harlan County, Lee County, Hancock County, Hawkins County, though, you're right next in terms of the severe thunderstorm that is right over Hamblen County. And that is continuing to be really gusty winds, the main threat for our area as a whole. This particular storm cell has those gusts of 70 miles per hour. And then we still have some strings of heavy rain and rumbles of thunder coming up behind it. I will point out that the weather radio for East Tennessee is down today. That tower went down. So that's what you normally rely on. Remember, you're included in a high wind warning. We sent you a message from the WVLT First First Alert Weather app about this. High wind warning continues until later tonight. And then we're sending you messages if you're near heavy rain or lightning. You can turn that on in our First Alert Weather app. We've also been sending you messages for severe thunderstorm warnings, which unfortunately we've had multiple of course. That one's sitting right over Morristown. And then we've also got your heavy rain and lightning notifications, so you can kind of pick and choose those notifications in the First Alert Weather app as this storm continues to move east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. So that's going to continue to drive up into more of Rogersville towards Virginia here in just about an hour. Right now we're at chalk level in just about 10 minutes in Sir Gowensville, 425 to Churchill at 430 before it moves out of our area altogether. So let's zoom in real quick in terms of the intensity of this storm down to your neighborhood. So that is actually going to continue to sit right here. The most intense part is actually moving out of Morristown and is sitting over more of Whitesburg to Mohawk. So I want to zoom in just a little bit more here, and then I'm going to shift your focus over the towns that are really kind of the biggest concern. So right here what we have is Mohawk. We've also got coming out of Jefferson County here. We've also got your Mohawk area to Greene County there, Skinner Crossroad, come over into the Hamblin County side, as well as Hawkins County, Silver City. That is continuing to be right there in the heart of this severe thunderstorm there. Coming out of Barton Springs, you're looking right over Russellville to Whitesburg. Then we are looking here at St. Clair Road. If you've got some loved ones who live in that area, that is the heart of that severe thunderstorm there, continuing to move east-northeast into more, there you go, into more of St. Clair area. So that's where that road goes in terms of our area. Zooming back out to give you some perspective, I was zoomed in really tight there between Russellville and Whitesburg because that is the heart of that severe thunderstorm that's moving up more towards St. Clair, up Highway 66 there coming out of Whitesburg. There is still a tail here of a kind of a more intense but very isolated storm over 25E coming out of Morristown, so Panther Creek State Park as well. But really this severe thunderstorm is branching off and moving northeast there around Mohawk as well. I know meteorologist Jacob Durham is keeping an eye on those winds for you. Those continue to be intense even behind these storms.
Yeah, that's right, Heather. So even though the storms are pushing off towards your east, don't let your guard down. We still could see widespread trees and power outages as those winds gusting anywhere between 45 to 50 miles per hour at times, and that could definitely bring you down those trees as well as those power lines, as I just mentioned. Reading over the National Weather Service chat, Blount County has around 50 calls for trees and power lines down across the county. No damage reported at this time, so that's at least some good news there. And we also have reports of widespread trees and power lines down across Knox County as well. Of course, that's really those two areas that were hit very hard as that strong thunderstorm pushed through earlier. 67 mile per hour wind gusts there at McGee-Tyson Airport. Still hasn't updated up towards severe, and Morristown probably seeing those 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts, if I had to imagine, based on the radar signatures that we have been seeing. But as Heather's been kind of alluding to, that storm continues to push off towards the north and east about 50 miles per hour. That severe thunderstorm warning going for about another 10 minutes. Haven't seen anything about extending it, so that's the good news there. But still some heavy downpours in and around Knox County as well. I'll focus on some of those showers that continue to push off towards the east. Nothing severe with this. Gusty winds, yes. Heavy downpours limiting some visibility there along Highway 40 about to enter Kodak. You can see back up towards Washburn as well as Maynardville, some of those heavier downpours. No lightning with this, but the severe thunderstorm warning here goes until 4:15, so about another 8 minutes there. Worst is now leaving Morristown, some heavy rainfall, but that lightning has really kind of tapered off. The lightning strikes that you do see there in the orange and brown, those were old lightning strikes. What we would look for is those white flashes there on the screen that would indicate fresh lightning strikes. But so far, storm looks to be weakening as it pushes off towards the east, northeast, so that's something good to track there. And just got information in from the National Weather Service that they expired the severe thunderstorm warning for Koch, Granger, Greene, Hamblin, Hancock, Hawkins, and Jefferson. So they are seeing what we're seeing, that it's slowly beginning to die down. I'll pitch it back over to Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley.
Yeah, and that's good news. So obviously we can kind of give you a break. I know our news team has literally been out there checking on some of these reports. So I actually wanted to show you kind of an assessment of some of the reports that are coming in. We'll relay the ones that you're giving to us, to the National Weather Service, so they can map this for you here. But notice how it's very clustered up in the South to Central Valley, where we now have 17 reports of gusts that are potentially damaging, of trees down, of some roof damage, and that is there in Knox to Blunt to parts of Sevier with those gust reports there in Sevier, and then some damage reports right there around Loudoun and Monroe, where the storm that just expired early in Hamlin County was earlier this morning or this afternoon. So that is wrapping up right now a little bit early again, right, Jacob? They're expiring that early, so this will be updating on our maps here in just a second. You still have a strong storm over Rogersville, but I will say we'll take this opportunity to give you a break, let the news team kind of take over and continue to monitor the impacts. We've also got meteorologist Ben Cathy here along with Jacob Durham to have you covered for the rest of the evening. Remember, those winds will continue with those high wind warnings, but they'll talk more about that for you coming up.
Heather, thank you. I know our first priority, of course, as always, is keeping you and your family safe. We're also watching the roads, which is another part of this weather story, and giving you updates on a lot of debris, a lot of trees down in our area. That's really been one of the main stories. And then power outages as well. And you've been watching some of the power outages in our area.
Yeah, definitely. We've been keeping track of right now of KUB. There are about 90.2% of people with power. And so right now KUB is saying 20,999 customers without power. It's important to note that that is customers right now. But again, almost 90% of you still have power. And then the Lenore City Utility Board's about 1,500 of their Knoxville customers are without power. Here's the KUB number that you can see right now on your screen. That's just a little below 90%. Just about 20,000 are without power across KUB's service area. Of course, this serves almost all of Knox County and a couple of surrounding counties. And then the Lenore City Utility Board, about 1,500 people in Knoxville without power, 400 in Lenore City, and just under 100 in Loudoun County. We're continuing to keep track of just what is happening in the power world. We have a number of our reporters out moving across East Tennessee looking at some storm damage reports in West Knox, also down into northern Sevier and Blount counties, also as that storm system worked its way across the region. And so we're continuing to keep an eye on just what the power situation looks like across East Tennessee. Again, just about 20,000 without power in the Knoxville Utility Board service district here as that storm's worked its way across East Tennessee.
Yeah, it certainly did. All right, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back with a quick look at your traffic.